Welcome back to Southern Life. So today we're going to be looking at a bunch of arrest records from the state of Florida, different counties, to understand exactly what is going on with the homeless population getting arrested. So I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of mugshots from a bunch of different counties. We'll be looking at the face of homelessness, the charges they are facing, and the counties that are going after the homeless right now. I want to start off in Palm Beach County. The first homeless person we're going to look at is from Palm Beach County. He had petty theft and several failure to appear. He did not have the most common charge that the homeless will face in Florida, and that is trespassing. We can look through police records and determine that the overwhelming majority of people charged with trespassing are going to be homeless. That rate is probably about 90% of them. This is Calvin. He was picked up in Palm Beach County for trespassing. Mr. Crockett was picked up in Lantana, Florida. That's in Palm Beach County. He was charged with trespassing on a $1,000 bail. Lisa of Palm Beach County, she looks like she's in really rough shape, and she had a trespassing charge. Her bail was only $250, but she was released to a treatment facility. This should be happening way more often than it does, and I want to congratulate Palm Beach County for actually sending her to get the help she needs. If more counties in Florida took this particular approach to homeless people on the streets, we would have a smaller homeless population and a healthier one at that. Mr. Frederick got time served out of Delray Beach, trespassing charge. That is also in Palm Beach County. Can't emphasize enough how important it is to have this be the conclusion of a homeless arrest, to send them off to get help. Arresting somebody and offering them no help, it just adds to their pain, suffering, and anguish, which will most likely prolong their existence in a state of homelessness. Also in Palm Beach County is Scott. Now, in his case, it was posted, no trespassing. He got a $1,000 bond, and he should have known not to be there because there was a sign. Meet Mr. Vincent out of Palm Beach Gardens. That's kind of a nicer area. $1,000 bail after being told to leave by the owner. Many times when I see this told to leave by the owner, I always wonder if the owner actually told him to leave, or if that is just some type of pretext to arrest somebody under lack of due process. It happens fairly often in Florida, where law enforcement says, well, the owner told this person to leave, but they really didn't. Not saying that's exactly the case here, but it does happen. Meet Jimmy from Boydton, Palm Beach County. Now, he went to the barber and said, I want the boozy cut, but then he changed his mind and asked for a bowl cut, so he got both. He was charged with trespassing and resisting an officer without violence. Probably not the smartest thing to do. He put up a fight, and it enhanced his charges. Now, it is possible because he has a fresh fade that he is not actually homeless, but that is what we call in Florida a homeless charge. So you can be not homeless and end up with a homeless charge because you were asked to leave and you didn't. Then when the cops showed up, you gave them a hard time over it. And that right there can happen sometimes discriminately in Florida to more people than others. For example, if a cafe has shut down, there's people hanging out outside, chances are law enforcement will not force them to leave. But if you live in a poor, impoverished neighborhood and you don't have a fancy cafe, all you got's a corner store, the cops will pull up and tell you to leave, not knowing that this is possibly the only place to hang out in your vicinity. So take that with a grain of salt. Palm Beach County has a ruthless reputation of being a violent and aggressive place, so it's understandable that law enforcement here doesn't play around because they're dealing with a lot of very angry individuals. Not sure if he really is homeless or not, but here in Florida, this is what we call a homeless charge. It's kind of the type of thing that would happen to a homeless person. Take a look at this young man from Palm Beach County. He was charged with $250 to get out, trespassing on a structure. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Perhaps he's Ukrainian, Russian, or Eastern European, and it is starting to become a thing now in Florida for people from other countries to end up homeless here. Meet Elmore Rodriguez, Palm Beach County. It was posted not to trespass, and it cost him $1,000 to get out. Notice that for some people in Palm Beach County, when they're indigent, their bail is only $250. It's very considerate of them not to go heavy-handed on the poor. Meet Lorenzo from the Raw. Palm Beach County got him for trespassing and a municipal ordinance. Sounds like a little bit of double jeopardy there. They got him twice for being homeless, but you guys know how it is. If you break the law in America and you're black, you gotta get charged twice for the same thing. Now, I don't know why they got him for trespassing and the municipal ordinance. It would almost seem like this should have been one charge, but again, If you are black and you break the law, you're gonna pay twice for it. Those are the founding principles of this country. And this Mike Tyson on the streets looking dude right here in Palm Beach County got $1,000 to get out on a trespassing charge. Allegedly, the owner told him to stop hanging around my hood, dawg. But he just couldn't keep off the streets. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to Polk County, Florida. Now, you couldn't pay me to live in this gang and crime-infested county right outside of Tampa, but apparently a lot of people think because Polk County's got a sheriff that's on TV that this is the greatest, safest place to live in America. Like I said, you couldn't pay me to move to Polk County. I'd rather be homeless in Bradenton than housed in Polk County. And if you think I'm exaggerating, joke's on you. Now, out of the many homeless people I've interviewed in Florida, they always tell me that the worst place in the entire state to be homeless is possibly Polk County. Namely because the people in this county are ruthless. They don't help other people. They have no compassion. And being homeless out here is just pure misery. But let's get started with these lists. Meet Miss Lynn. Now, they took it easy on her with only a $250 bail. Arrested in Polk County for trespassing. Now meet this person. I don't know if it's a male or a female. There's some serious inconsistencies here. Arrested for trespassing. Even the name and the dates don't add up. Nothing adds up. It's just completely full of clerical errors. And one thing about the homeless people is when they get arrested, they don't even care to do the paperwork right because they know these people will not be able to afford an attorney to defend them. So sometimes when they get arrested, there's just complete errors all over their paperwork. Most inmates, when they get arrested, if there's too many clerical errors, they can get their charges dismissed. But if you're homeless, you can't afford an attorney, so they don't even care to do the paperwork right when they know the person is indigent. Shake my head. Picked up by the Lakeland Police Department. Apparently it's a black male, but it looks like a white female or a mixed female. There's aliases from before the day of birth. How could you have an alias before the day of birth? This is just completely full of clerical errors, indicating that the Lakeland Police Department doesn't really give a crap when they arrest somebody homeless. They don't even want to do the paperwork. They just want to lock them up. Some places provide help and assistance. Other places don't even want to find out who the right person is. They just want to lock somebody up and they don't even want to fill out the paperwork. In Bartow, Florida, in Polk County, they picked up this person here. Now, she was dispositioned as fine only. Notice she is sunburnt. You'll see this with a lot of homeless people. They're out there so much, they end up getting burnt like the pizzas Katie puts in the oven. Meeting Nathaniel out of Polk County. Is it me or is every homeless person I've ever met called Nathaniel? What a horrible name to give a child. Not only was he trespassing, but he made things worse by resisting, which means he's going to take $2,000 to get him out of jail. Meet Joseph. He got picked up by the Lakeland Police Department, and I've seen him before somewhere. I just can't remember where. And we meet this girl again. She got time served from a previous arrest, so seems like she's a repeat offender here. If you just got this girl some help, you wouldn't have to be arresting her time and time again, wasting taxpayer dollars, putting police officer in contact with homeless people, exposes them to staph infections, dangerous situations. Sometimes the community gets involved. It makes it very dangerous for the police officers. It really is an completely money draining situation. I recently heard that it actually costs more money to arrest homeless people than it does to offer them help. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure seems like they would rather arrest the homeless people. With as much as they have to deal with some of these individuals, it almost seems logical that it would be cheaper for society to give these people help and a place to sleep, even if it's a freaking shed behind a church, than it is to continually arrest them time and time again. Without a doubt, the way homeless people are treated in the United States seems like a completely broken and unproductive system. Now, this young lady here somehow secured a $1,000 bond. It says she was only 50 pounds at the time of arrest. That is almost impossible, which makes me think that, again, a clerical error. Maybe even they did it on purpose just to laugh at her for being so skinny. Again, it just seems that these counties don't give a crap. They know that they have power to do whatever they want, so sometimes they flaunt their powers. I really hope this girl wasn't 50 pounds, but I'm glad somebody got her out of that situation. Maybe the fact she's malnourished doesn't indicate she's homeless, because you rarely see homeless people get bailed out, which garnishes the question, why these $1,000 bails on people when they know they can't possibly pay for it? Meet starving Lisa out of Polk County, Florida. She's listed as only being 120 pounds. If somebody is 120 pounds and homeless, do they really need $1,000 bail? It seems like they're barely getting enough to eat. This is that person needs to be taken from jail directly to a program to get help. But she's probably going to get released back on the streets. Well, she'll end up doing it again because she doesn't have any other option. Complete waste of taxpayer money to just grab these individuals who are malnourished, practically starving. And this is what I've told you guys about Polk County, Florida, is that the people here don't help the homeless. If you end up homeless here, you could practically, if not literally, starve. There's one thing that the homeless have confirmed to me during all the interviews that I've done is that they're usually well fed throughout Florida. But when you get to Polk County, Florida, you literally see people malnourished. Meet Lisa. Not only did she receive a trespassing charge, but she was also stealing. Now, it is possible that maybe she isn't homeless. Maybe she was trespassing while stealing. But again, we call these homeless charges for a reason. If you don't do homeless things, you won't receive homeless charges. Meet Willie at 140 pounds. It says he's 5'1". I really doubt he's 5'1". It says he's 140 pounds. You know, there's a lot of inconsistencies here. Even the way that they wrote WC instead of Willie for his name. It seems like there's a lot of inconsistencies, and a lot of them are getting time served, which means that they're probably not intending to give the person due process. Many times when they're arrested, they're just intending to arrest them. And that, of course, is borderline intentional if it happens systematically to a lot of people, which means, that's right, lack of due process, abusing the system, arresting people when you have no intentions of actually pressing charges. By looking at what's going on in Polk County with these homeless arrests, completely reckless, completely irresponsible. You can just look at these arrest reports and tell that there's a lot of things happening here that aren't right. Typical small rural county in Florida. Many times when you see things like this, it simply indicates that the people here in power do whatever they want and they're not really afraid of being contested in their behavior, which gives them the power to just act completely recklessly and negligent because after all, they are the law. What they say goes, so why should they even care about small details? And that's worked really great for a lot of dictatorships, but last time I checked, we had like due process and constitution and stuff like that. All right, so that's enough of Polk County, Florida. Let's hop on over to Hernando County. Now, Hernando County consists of the sinkhole and crime-ridden town of Spring Hill, which has been flooded by sinkholes and New Yorkers. This is really a miserable, very far from Tampa town. It's really a commuter community to Tampa along the Veterans Highway, but it's so far from Tampa, it's impossible to imagine how somebody could commute so far into Tampa. But it is a commuter suburb, Hernando County. How people from this area commute all the way to Tampa is beyond my understanding. Now, the amount of arrest for homeless people in this county is just unbelievable. They have been arresting the homeless people here more than anywhere else, and it's probably because the lack of coverage. So let's get into this. Let's cover these stories because nowhere else in Florida have they gone so hard on the homeless lately than Hernando County. The list is extensive. Let's get to it. The first victim of Hernando County is 65 years old and homeless, white male. The second person we're going to look at has been arrested so many times, you'll see him throughout the entire brewster of inmates. Then they found a black guy. It's not just white people getting arrested for homeless. Sometimes you get a black guy here and there. One thing I did notice about Hernando County is while they hate the homeless, they don't seem to have racial profiling going on. They seem like their arrest reports match their county's demographics, and that's the way it should be. Of course, the number one way that law enforcement discriminates people racially isn't by racially profiling them with more arrests, because that's obvious. It's by not defending them as often when they are victims. That's where police discrimination really shines through, but that's something nobody will ever talk about. Meet Dawn. She's really repentant for what she did being homeless down there. She's seen crying. Then there's this hairy guy right here who just looks completely indifferent. Then we have this female here. Now, she is hardcore. This is a hardened criminal on the streets of Hernando County. And then they have a black guy. Keep in mind, a lot of times when these black older guys get arrested like this, they usually got a good white girl with them. Now, I'm not going to get into details of every single person's, all their arrest records, because there's so many for Hernando County that we'd be here all day. So we just got to rush through these. If you've ever wondered why so many white women on the streets end up with a black guy, it's because the black guy can't hit her, because if he does, he will get arrested. And a lot of the white guys, when they hit a white girl, they don't get arrested. Law enforcement becomes indifferent, especially if they're homeless. That's why so many homeless white females will eventually end up with a homeless black guy, because he'll protect her, take care of her, and he won't be able to hit her or abuse her, at least not to the same degree that a white guy will. So one thing you'll notice about Hernando County is a lot of homeless people here seem to be causing a lot of trouble. This guy's called Galen. Now this person looks like they're homeless. They're arrested for a brawl, so causing trouble. This young lady here was arrested for being homeless, but she also had possession of something illegal. And then you have the Hernando homeless man here. He definitely looks like he's seen better days. So they're in rough condition, and a lot of times they're causing a lot of trouble in the community. Like this person here, who was not only trespassing, but they were also impersonating. So a lot of the homeless people in Hernando County seem like they come with a lot of trouble. A lot of these homeless people seem to just be causing a lot of trouble in their community. They're not just getting arrested for trespassing, they're also getting arrested for other charges. You can see on this female, she's sunburned and she's crying, so she's having a bad day. Other individuals look like they're outright either completely mentally disabled or some type of little crisis they're dealing with. But regardless, there's a lot of people out there that need help, and this county's just simply arresting all of them. Meet Jared. He just wanted a quiet place to sleep. Obvious from his mugshot photo. This person was homeless, but she also had some larceny. Larceny means you're out there stealing people's stuff. This next person, she had to leave now. She got trespassed. Some of these people look like they're outright crazy. Like, look at this guy here. He doesn't look like he's 100% there, looking like the Colonel from the Kentucky Fried Chicken logo. And then you got this lady right here. She is Lorraine. She's definitely having a bad day. Now, this person right here was trespassing, and on top of that, he was resisting. Now, I gotta say, a lot of these homeless people look like they're having a really bad day. It looks like they're almost exhausted. Are they fighting back? Or are they just so frustrated that the county's just arresting all of them? This particular one looks like she's got some bad infections. Think about the law enforcement officers that have to interact with these people covered in all types of diseases and infections. I would have to say some of these homeless people here in Hernando County look like they're in really rough shape. They just don't look healthy. This individual trespassed and he failed to appear, so he's trying to hide from something. Here's another person arrested for trespassing. This person looks like they're chronically homeless. This young lady here looks like she's got some evil intentions in mind. Maybe she's homeless, maybe she's not. Upset homeless guy. Look at the red eyes. He's definitely not happy about something. Then you got William. He's got red eye syndrome too. And let's not forget about this guy. He can't stop getting arrested in Hernando County, Florida. He's a usual habitual offender there for the homeless thing. I've actually met homeless people who decide they're going to live in a specific place, and no matter how many times they get arrested, they'll go right back to that same place and just keep doing it over and over again to prove their point that they're not going away. Then there's Monica, a young female facing homelessness here. It really is sad to see how many people have been arrested for being homeless in Hernando County, Florida, and how disgruntled they look at the situation. It's a community that has not really been able to afford good jobs or good anything. Most people here have to commute to Tampa, so you figure with a long commute, living in this county or getting back up on your feet here has to be nearly impossible. It literally takes a perfect credit score, 2 cars, and a commute to Tampa to survive here, since it's a community that has barely no opportunity. So imagine trying to start from nothing in a place like this. The stacking of odds against you here is absolutely abnormally difficult, and it must be a difficult prospect to be homeless in this part of Florida, where it seems like you need almost a lifeline just to stay afloat. A lot of people have retired here for affordability, and all the young people are left having to make these long, unbearable commutes to Tampa. If you don't have a brand new car in this community, you're simply not going to make it. And let's not forget that the Veterans is a toll road. It isn't even a free ride down there. New York expenses with Mississippi salaries. Alright, so let's take a look at a few other counties in Florida that have also been making arrests of the homeless. This guy here got a $1,500 bail for being homeless. Brutal. This lady arrested in Charlotte County, Florida. They didn't want to say why she got arrested. Interesting, but they did list her address as homeless. Kayla was arrested in Charlotte County, Florida with an out-of-county warrant. She was listed as homeless. So these two females are not being arrested for being homeless. They're just being arrested and they're homeless. Here's another Nathaniel. This one's out of Volusia County, Florida. By the way, this is Pasco County, Florida. They recently started a little program here where they have little houses and places for the homeless. I hope that more programs like this come to Florida. This is what they were supposed to do. This is Pasco County, Florida, one of the few counties that actually did it, but they got a lot of kickback. There's a lot of people in local government who did everything they could to stop this from going in. And it's embarrassing, really, that even when the resources are available, some of these people fight back from making these places come to the county. Now, there's also a lot of people in Pasco County where this footage is taken from that despite the fact that resources are available, they don't want to go to these places because they would rather live against the law. They just have become used to living in these homeless camps and they don't want to live with structure. They don't want structure. So then there's that aspect that even if resources are available for different reasons, some individuals will refuse to accept that help. And well, homelessness is very diverse and complicated for many different reasons for many different people. So it's one of those situations where even if resources are available, when a county has a reputation of just treating the homeless people wrong, then those people don't trust the people who have been treating them with lack of due process. So now these counties that have been treating the homeless with lack of due process, they've been arresting them unnecessarily. They've been disrespecting them when they arrest them. They haven't offered them any help at all. Now when there is help available, how do you expect these individuals who you've been treating with lack of due process to... We're all going to... We're going to... Run, Katie! Run! Dang it, you're burning the pizza. Now I done told you that pizza down there, you're going to burn that pizza box down there. I can't believe you burned another pizza. Now, how many pizzas are you going to burn? You get that DiGiorno pizza out of there. That DiGiorno, grab it, put a cloth on it or something. That DiGiorno pizza cup down there. Put some water on it or something, okay? But yeah, when you've been treating these people wrong for so long, how do you expect them now to trust your system to provide them with help and resources? Because if there's one thing, is the intention. And the intention in a lot of these places hasn't been to help the homeless. It's been to hurt them and incriminate them and ruin their lives. So if your intention is to hurt somebody, how do you now expect these people to trust you if in theory these resources are available? Those are just some of the arrests that I have found throughout different counties in Florida. And it should just give us an idea of how many people are out there facing homelessness, facing incarcerations that lead to absolutely nothing. There isn't recovery for most of these people. And for some of these people, it just becomes a reoccurring cycle of law enforcement arresting them, which puts them back on the street with zero again. It's a never-ending cycle of homelessness for some of these individuals. And of course, when they leave their tents behind, everything gets stolen, ransacked, and destroyed. Clearly, when they get released with nothing at all. Some people call this recovery, or they call it reform, but in reality, it's nothing more than, well, there's no nice way of saying it, but it really just institutionalizes much of the homeless population. I feel like a lot of these people need help. They don't need to be arrested and treated like criminals. They need to be helped so that they can go back to living a productive life. Some of these individuals clearly have mental problems, and it doesn't seem like whatever trauma they're facing or challenges they're facing in their lives are something that society can easily address. This is homelessness in Florida, and these are just some of the people that we've noticed getting arrested in the Sunshine State.